Ed, thanks for joining us to have a chat about imagination, about building bridges, about creating change. Tell us what sort of piqued your interest as you saw this sort of land in your orbit, and yeah, what do you see from your side?
Well, I'm all about making change. Like last year, I graduated from my high school, and I went through, I started in year 7 and, went through looking at the education system. And by the time I got to year 12, I'd sort of had this full picture of what I wanted to change about the education system. And now that I've come out and into the world and it's become Corona and stuff, and we've gone under lockdown, I've been trying to reach in any way that I possibly can to preach like education and some change, because I don't think we're getting enough. I don't think the youth are being told the full truth, So I got the email about the Imagination TV thing, and I was so overcome because as a musician and as a music teacher, I want to do anything I can to get my knowledge out there and like to share that with the youth of today, because I feel like I genuinely have something to say. And yeah, I feel like the Imagination University, I feel like that's a really, really great place to start for change.
Yeah, I remember back in 2004, sort of trying to work out, like 2003-4, work out how to create change. And I always thought music was a really big mover to move the heart. You've got the head, you got to move with documents and be like, oh, okay, here's how the steps work. But yeah, music and art more broadly, it gives us a chance to move our heart to another space, our soul to another space, and then our head can sometimes follow afterwards. And I was kind of thinking, all right, I see these two broad camps. Like I see people who sort of have power and wealth and opportunities, and I see a big other group that don't get a lot of power and wealth and opportunities, and just stumbled across this concept of mentoring as a bridge. And the more that we've lived like the mentoring world for 16 years, I've kind of just seen that maybe we just lost that as a natural part of how we relate to each other, that we share the knowledge that you're talking about organically, that's just, I think it's in us all to actually want to pass on our knowledge to all kids, not just to our kids within a little tiny lens, but to all kids, so kids can then go, oh, cool. That's what Ed did. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because he told me those 4 mistakes, but I might do that one because that's a great tip. And then we make progress and we get to actually, hopefully move a little bit more like that as opposed to going up and down and up and down. Hey, Ed, I saw you pick up that guitar there. Are you going to give us a little treat?
I was thinking I could. So earlier on this year, I released my first debut single, Pass the Blame, and it's all about, like, initially when I released it, it was all about the fires, the bushfires that happened all around Australia, beginning back in September of 2019, which seems like a whole other world now. And as the 2020 has unfolded, I feel like this song has taken on a whole new meaning. So I just wanted to play a little, like, the chorus, just because I feel like it's really important and it sort of shares what I want to do with this message, because the blame has been passed so much, especially through this pandemic. So here we go. Okay. Our country, it is burning up in flames, but no one is willing to take the blame. Oh, it's so clear that the world won't be the same, so let's ignore the blame and just pass the blame. Pass the blame. Pass the blame. Blame, 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 blame. It's just a little chorus, but I feel like that chorus is so important now, especially throughout 2020. The pain keeps it being ignored and the blame keeps on being passed around.
Absolutely. Well, Ed, Mike, and Kat, thanks for dropping in to reflect on what we're going to try and build together, and stoked to have you guys connecting into it. And if you want to enroll and you're watching the show, just head to aimmentoring.com and you just punch in a really simple expression of interest, and then the applications will be open in the next 2.5 months. And then February 1 next year, we do 5 2-hour shows to kickstart the university and really teach the theoretical components, which are going to be about organizing change, imagination, mentoring, flipping the script, hoodie economics, and then looking at how we can build bridges together with each other. So that'll be what we're working on. I say shows because the small reveal is there'll be 5 acts performed by our puppets, which will be our professors of the university. So that'll be the first half hour of every 2 hours, and then we'll have a live TV show experience with mentors from around the world. And then you'll gather in your tutorial groups, which will all be designed on unlikely alliances. So perhaps, Mike, you'll be in a group with Ed and with a high school kid and with an executive and then with another citizen. So we're really trying to cultivate this idea of a complex social network for good, where we really build bridges between people who wouldn't usually connect. So Ed, Mike, Kat, thanks for dropping in. And yeah, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thanks, Jack.